Hey guys, here's my second installation of my Morphe series using the Morphe 350 palette. My sister was so sweet to let me borrow her palette, and she's being extra sweet on letting me take my time with creating these looks. Give her a thank you because this is all for you guys. This is the second look that I created. I wanted it to be a little bit more like just smoky and deep. I love smoky eyes. I can do smoky eyes almost every single day and make it just this much different, and then it'll be like a whole new look for me. So with this one I actually paired it with a white eyeliner, which I like. If you want to see all the details to everything else on my face and to see how I do it, then just keep watching. Starting off with my eyes, I'm going to be using the Bnefit Stay Don't Stray Eye Primer. This is in the color Medium Deep. It's a pretty okay primer, actually, now that I think about it some more. But I'll talk about it more some other time when it's in empties. But I am setting that with a powder. This is my Studio Fix powder in NC40. As you can tell, I already have mascara on, but just ignore that. I just did 2 looks in one day. Alright, now this is the palette that I'm using for the most, well, all of the tutorial. I'm using this like middle tone gray, and I'm going to be using that as my transition. Normally I would do a lighter color, something that's a little bit more warm, but for this look I want it to be a blown out smoky eye, so I think it's totally appropriate to kind of go with a deeper look. I'm going all the way in and all the way out, really blending and making sure it's all buffed out. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. The nice thing about this look is that it's very effortless. You just have to do a little bit extra steps on certain parts of it, but at least for this part, it's the easy part. You just have to make sure that you're blending. Now I'm taking this kind of patina color. It's a very nice middle tone bronze. I really like this color a lot. It looks really beautiful on tan skin. I'm using that all over my lid, and I'm laying it with a flat brush. I'm also stretching my skin a little bit taut so I can get it really like in every single nook and cranny. Then I'm taking a blending brush and just blending out the edge. Then I'm laying an extra layer on top of that, and then blending it again with my brush. So it's always important to blend out the very edges with your brush so it doesn't begin to look really ugly and cakey. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of my eye. I wanted to play around to see how like bright and shimmery I can get this eyeshadow, so I sprayed my brush after I picked up the product with my eyeshadow brush, and I thought it looked really pretty. It didn't make it look extra shiny or extra foiled by any means, but it did give it a little bit of pop, which is nice. So I'm blending it again, like always. Okay, now I'm going to be using the lightest 2 colors. Really, I'm just doing this just to kind of get like a solid color against my brow. You don't really have to do this part, but it's something that I always forget to do, and I always notice a difference if I don't. So I'm just blending it with my original brush that I used before. Now I'm just going to wipe my face off with some of the product that fell down. There wasn't a lot of fallout. For my primer on my face, I'm using the Baby Skin. This is a really great primer. I have a whole video about comparing this with the higher end one, and this one outbeats it. I'll link it below so you can see the comparison. For my foundation, I'm using the Loreal Pro Infallible. This one I'm actually laying on with a brush and then putting it all over. I just didn't want to get my palette dirty, which is kind of silly, but I'm just going to be using that. I think I'm color 108. I could be color 109, but honestly, sometimes when I get a tan, all of a sudden I forget that I get so dark. So this is an example of when I was using colors that I should have been going a shade darker. But for the concealer, this is the MAC Prolongwear Concealer in NC35. I like to keep this bright. I think it's fine. It pretty much like is my go-to color. And I'm rubbing that and buffing it and sponging it all over my under eye area. Thing about this concealer, or any concealer, is that you can really clean up the edges of your eyeshadows. So but it can be very tricky because you can get a little too far up on the eyeshadow, so then you have to reapply and it might look blotchy. So just be careful when you're getting in the edges of the inner and outer corners. I'm using the MAC Bright Forecast. This is the Prep and Prime pen, and it's very bright, but it's a very thin layer, so it's kind of nice because you can layer this on top of your concealers. I wanted just this area to be very, very bright. I thought that with a smoky eye, it's okay to kind of go a little dramatic on the contour and the highlight, and so this is kind of what I was doing with that. So I'm making sure to spread that very lightly against my nose, upper lip, chin, and under eye, cheek, bone area. To set the under eye area, I'm using the Wet n Wild contour palette and the light color in there. As you can see, it's a very light color, and it actually has some really good color payoff. If you're like an NC40 and lighter, I think this would be a really good color for you. For me, I would say that it's a little bit light, but it was kind of what I was going for this look. I wanted it just to be dramatic, highlight extra, contour extra. So for my bottom eyes, I'm using that first color that I use on my crease. I made that face because my brush was very itchy. It was very scratchy. I used to not wash them properly. I used to wash them with alcohol and just like soak them. It was, I don't know, it was a big mess. But it'll ruin your brushes, so don't do that. And then I'm taking a smaller brush and tipping it in that first color again and just getting it targeted against my lashes. The nice thing about this is that it's, you're only using a few colors. And then I'm using that shimmery color on the middle area of my lower lash line. Now for my bronzer, because I look a little ghostly, I wanted to use the Park Avenue Princess by Tarte. And I'm brushing that all over the cheekbone area and the perimeters of my forehead. The color that I use for my foundation is actually a pretty good match, so I didn't have to put too much on my forehead, but I did need to bring some life back into my cheeks. So I'm doing that by carving it, buffing it out, and just making sure that it's nice and blended. Always a good idea to put a little bit of extra love on your nose just so that it doesn't get lost completely with the lightness that you brought into it. Now with my Falsies mascara, I'm using a regular mascara only because I already had a layer on this. I totally forgot to show the lashes that I used, but they were just any pair, and then I put some mascara on my bottom lashes. Again, I had a layer on before from a look that I did prior, so just ignore the fact that I already had some. Now I'm taking Bare Minerals blush in the color Laughter, and I'm adding that to my cheeks. This is a nice warm color. Really, this blush goes with everything, and I'm still using it. Yeah, there's just still a little bit of laughter left to be used, so I'm going to be using that as much as I can. But if you can see already, the blush just makes like the cheeks look a little bit more in tune with the look now. Now I'm using the Becca Jaclyn Hill Face Palette. I'm not using that blush, although it would have been a really beautiful blush to use, the middle one. I'm using that highlighter, Prosecco. I think it's Prosecco Pop or Prosecco. I'm not sure exactly now. And then I'm using that on my chops of my cheekbones. It's a very shimmery, high pigmented, white gold type of highlighter. And again, with this look, it totally matches what I was trying to go for. So don't stop at the cheeks, go at the nose, go at the upper lip, make sure everything is nice and highlighted. Now just to make this look a little bit different, I'm adding some eyeliner. I was going to do dark, but I thought I would bring some brightness back to the eye. So I'm using a white one. This is the Rimmel pencil. As you can see at this point, I already added the lashes. Again, I can't remember what the name of them were, but they're Ardell, and they're one of the simple ones that have like wispiness in them. For my lips, I thought I would do a bright color this summer, and this is the color I've been really liking and wanting to wear, but I always get scared because I forget how awesome this color actually is. It's called Relentlessly Red. It's almost like a red, it's almost like a pink, it's kind of like both. Make sure your lips are really moisturized before because it can totally like attach to every little dry patch, but I can't get every single edge, and I don't have a lip liner that's exactly this color, so what I do is I take a teeny brush, I swipe it onto the lipstick, and then use that as my lip liner. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!